Warning, 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 warning. This is a emergency broadcast. Code Red, Code Red, Code Red, here we are. Pick up your iPads, your cell phones, and have me and listen to Uncle the Podcast. Watch out. If you're sitting down for this, or if you're standing up, you better get ready for this, because it's gonna hit the eardrums. Uncle the Podcast.
You are listening to Uncle the Broadcast. My name is Aaron. I'm the nephew-in-law. Here with me is the star of the show, Uncle.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're at 121 episode. We're finally reaching the 21 episode.
It's about time.
And we have a special guest named Carmel.
We do.
For us talking about his bicycles. What are you laughing at, sidekick?
Yeah.
And here he is doing the sidekick laugh again.
I'm sorry. We have... Yeah, it's like you said, Uncle Tom Brown of
Brown, I believe his name is.
Bike Karma Podcast.
So what do you have to say there, guest man?
I love your theme song still. I mean, I can't say enough good things about your theme song. It's just like I'm launched in. I'm ready to go. Warning. I love it, man.
I'm never going to change it because
Don't.
that song brings my customers into me.
Yeah,
and they got the sidekick going nuts on my side over here, sidekick. But what it does, it gets the people that if we do get another guest, of course, they're going to like the sound.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the way I see it is, what would have happened if the Ultimate Warrior didn't have that theme music? Would he have still run into the ring with the same intensity?
No.
It wouldn't have
I
happened.
don't think so. Matter of fact, I saw him on a picture. I don't know if it was on a Instagram on my brain, but I saw his picture somewhere. I can't picture where. And it reminds me of Sidekick over here, doing the man stomp in the ring. Dun, dun, dun. Boom, 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 bouncing his head, going crazy. He's acting like him over here, the Sidekick.
Yeah, so thank you, Tom. It's
Tom.
great to hear praise for the song, because it was fun to create that weird thing.
I mean, if anybody's ever trying to get me to do a trick on a bicycle ever, they just got like pump that up and then kind of push my back a little bit, and there I go. You know, I'll do it. I'll do it, man.
Nice. Now, Uncle, we've got a bicycle expert on the line, Tom Brown, Bike Karma Podcast. What do you have to ask him?
I tell you, I like to learn how to ride my own bike again. If there's one case, but he has it always hanging up. I get a chance to ride my bike for a change. These people here, it's a smooth wheel car, a really nice bike, blue bike, and I'm not selling it. Don't even think about it. And you don't even think about it. Because I would like to learn how to ride again. I know I'm older, and I'm going to watch the road, but I got to be more careful, watch the road.
Got to be careful.
In here, in this streets, are not no bumps, are not no trees where I see them and I don't see them. I just complete nice, and they're built properly. That's what I'm going to say about the bicycle.
Yeah.
I like my bicycle, but
So,
about
Uncle,
bicycle.
Uncle, do you remember when you first learned to ride a bike?
Yeah.
What was it like? Did you have training wheels?
Oh, yeah. Cool.
All right. So the new way to teach people how to ride a bike is not with training wheels.
Anymore. Of course.
Not with training wheels anymore.
It's gone a little bit higher. Or more.
Yes.
Like we're saying. Right.
So what you do is you take the pedals off of the bike, and then you just have them sit on the seat and scoot around. And they do the balance first instead of having the training wheels. And so instead of starting with pedaling, you start with balance. And this works out good because when I got my training wheels off, I got pushed into a wood pile. That was basically how I learned how to ride a bike, was to try and avoid the wood pile. But now it's this balance thing, and it's amazing. So it's easier to learn how to ride your bike again now if you really want to get back out there on that bike.
I do. But you mean I'd have to take the wheels off?
Nope, you take the pedals off.
I mean, how do we study of learning how to ride it?
Tom is talking about turning your bike into a velocipede. Isn't that right, Tom?
It's exactly what I'm talking about.
But sitting down and doing it?
You just walk like a scooter.
Oh, yes. We have a Spanish scooters what they have, and I would like to get one, but I can't get one because his dealership is at his hometown.
Well, we have a couple of them.
Yeah, but I'm going to start practicing on them.
Tom, you know about the Amish scooters,
The Amish
right?
scooters. Do you hear about them?
Yeah.
Those are like you're saying, except they don't have a seat. But I could practice on something like that.
I've heard of people training people to ride bikes on scooters for the exact same reason, to learn the balance first on the scooter because it's easier because you don't have the pedals in the way, and then you go to the bike. I've heard of that. I want to say specifically with adults learning to ride a bike for the first time. I think I remember that.
I've taught several high school kids now. And, sometimes, people get all the way to adulthood and they've never ridden a bike before. And the way that I was taught was with training wheels, and it was just so backwards. It's like, get to pedal before you learn how to balance. And this way, it's so much quicker. It's like kids come to me and they're like, teens who've never ridden, and within a couple months, they're like riding their bike pretty well, with no training wheels ever involved. You just take the pedals off. You scoot around, you learn how to balance, you learn how to move your handlebars just a little bit. It's called micro adjustments. And you just kind of like shift that little front bar and keep yourself from falling over. And then you put the pedals back on and you're on down the road. So it's such a much better way to learn than before. Unlike new math. New math I'm not a fan of. But the new way of riding bikes, I love it.
There you go, Uncle. We'll just take those pedals off and have
try to take the pedals off. Yeah. But the only question I ask myself, will the tires move with the pedals?
Yeah, you got to scoot yourself around, though. You kind of like walk.
Walk with the...
Yeah, the wheels will just spin freely. So you can just push yourself like Fred Flintstone pushes his car.
Would I need the seat, or would I take the seat off?
Yeah, leave the seat on. Yeah.
We're going to try that. Now you have something to do.
There we go.
Just don't do it on a giant hill.
No, Will. I want to go on an even hill that doesn't go down a hill, because these people, I tell you, they're scared to death if I have another accident.
Uncle had a bicycle accident a couple years back
in Orange.
Yeah, so since that time we're being careful. We're being cautious.
But I'm watching the sidewalks are nice and clean here. They're straight. They're not ripped by trees ripped up on the road, and that's where I had the accident.
Where you were riding on what was actually a bike path.
Yeah, it was a bike path, but it was all teared up.
It was, yeah.
And then when
there was
the people at work, they saw me come in for an orientation. It was an orientation day.
Oh yeah, that's when you were hurt.
I come in completely teared apart, and they say, "What happened to you, guy?" Oh, you don't want to know. I'm here talking about this bicycle problem.
Yeah, you actually rode all the way to work and were
injured. I'm injured and doing it because I wanted to get that rotation done.
Oh, my gosh.
And then
you had a broken clavicle. Or was it? No, I'm sorry.
No, that wasn't.
It was a patella. It was
a broke patella.
I was thinking of somebody else's injury.
It was like I had to be off of it for 2 weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't go into work until then.
It could have been a lot worse, luckily.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was fractured, nonetheless.
It was fractured, and then I went into doing the exercise for, was it 6 months?
Oh, yeah, physical therapy.
Therapy, at least for 6 months, and then it is. But what it was when I started, it was so still.
Yeah.
But then after a while, I got back into the movement and back to what I'm doing.
So we gotta be careful.
I can understand that. I can understand being careful. Mm-hmm. But now I'm more careful of watching what's built under me. Not trees bumped into sidewalks, ripped up. I will not walk. I will not drive in those.
Well, anytime you ride a bike, there's any number of hazards out there. And Tom, why don't you speak to this? Just all the different sorts of things that are hazards riding that maybe you wouldn't even recognize as a hazard if you didn't think about it.
So you got potholes. You got garbage that's in the side of the road. You've got train tracks. I just fell on train tracks the other day, and I was so proud of myself because I threw my arms up in front of my mouth. Because the last time I got into an accident before that, I broke 4 teeth. So I was like, it was kind of like a mixed bag of feelings because I was really proud of myself for putting my hands in front of my face. But on the other hand, I had also crashed. So when you go over train tracks, if it's at all wet, those train tracks are like ice skating. So you got to hit them exactly perpendicular. And even if you're a little bit off, you could slide on those. So be careful on train tracks. Wet train tracks are the worst. Animals come running out at you, especially the dogs. The dogs are like a moving pothole. It's like a pothole that chases you and can bite you. And they run alongside your wheel, and it's like, what are they thinking? And squirrels squirrels are suicidal or psychotic or whatever. I don't mean to judge. There must be some nice squirrels out there, but the squirrels they'll stand there, they'll look at you, and then right as you get like where you can't do anything, they'll dart in front of you and try and get in front of you before you go. And it's like they're thrill seekers. I had a bird hit me in the head once. It just kind of like flew by me and slapped me in the face with one of its wings. That was weird. There's all kinds of stuff out there. There's cars too, I heard. There's cars out there you got to be careful of, and people opening their doors and all kinds of stuff. But in general, I must say it's a fun hobby, and I'm sorry you got hurt the last time you were out there. That's hard to be laid up for a couple weeks. That's the worst part.
And that was the beginning of the job, that they seen me hurt, say, "Oh, you can't work because you had this and that."
That's right.
My boss knew it, and they all seen it, because now we got a new supervisor.
I forgot that was your very first orientation. I'd forgotten that part of the story.
Right.
That's
but I went myself. So bad. You didn't go with me at the time.
No, I wasn't with you. You were on your own.
This time. I was on my own this time. Well, you went on the first time, but you didn't go this time.
Yeah, I took you so you knew where you'd be going. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then you were on your own this time.
And I did it my own, and that happened.
Yeah.
But because I like to ride the bike for other reasons. I like the way. I don't want to be on the car. I wanted to do some extra, and that was the way I wanted to do it. But
you had been riding around. You had been doing that ride a few times before that happened.
Before it happened.
So it must have been orientation for like a new year of work, now that I remember. I'm getting into all these details. But I know that you had been riding on that same path quite a bit with no problems.
It's just that like you said, I didn't look down at the sidewalks where you're supposed to actually look down at where you're going.
There was a root growing underneath the blacktop path, which it was made out of. There was a bump on where the root was there, and the bump made you fall.
Correct. That's what actually happened. But because of the sidewalks were so messed up that I hate to look back and see how they got anything done.
But my point to you, Uncle, is always this: that
look down
it's not just like a bump in the sidewalk from a root being there. There's infinite number of hazards when you go out there, and you have to be very aware of everything. That's part of the thing I like about cycling, actually, is that it forces you to be aware of your surroundings.
Well, that's my point, too. I like to do some driving and riding bicycle more times to lose, of course, now a little weight, trying to walk and drive the bicycle. But now that I don't drive, of course, I have to be riding around.
Yeah.
And for today, for example, they brought me to see a movie. So I've been sitting home all this time waiting to go back to work. In fact, I go back February 4th.
Actually, this makes me think. Tom, have you happened to see the Aquaman movie?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen
that? I have not. My kids went to go see it separately. They said they liked it a lot, but I have not gotten a chance to see it yet.
I have seen it, but are you going to see it? I can explain.
I'm going to see it, but I don't mind spoiler alerts. I like them because I look like what's the Bird Blind? What's the one with Sandra
Box?
Yeah,
Bird Box. Like I didn't watch any of it, and I went right to a site called Spoiler Alert, and I went to see what the ending was going to be like to see if I would even be interested, because I need a good ending. The ending is the best part of the whole thing. Like when they do an epilogue and they say like 2 years later, and then they tell you what all the characters are doing 2 years later. That's the best movie to me. That's like 90% of what makes a movie great is how they end the movie.
See, I can explain it to you because I seen it today.
Yeah, go for it.
And I would explain how it gone, because if you're going to see it,
I don't care.
He don't care about it. Sidekick doesn't care about it.
Tom wants to hear all about this movie.
Okay, then. I can give it to you. Well, the first thing it started... What are you starting to laugh for?
I know.
And the first thing it started was the human man. This is what I got out of how it started. And the girls seen it, but didn't explain it this way. The human man was walking the dock one day, and it was raining down, and it had this woman that was on the beach, and it actually, that thing happened. All of a sudden, he was a human, and she was the fish.
Oh, like a mermaid.
Oh, like a mermaid, but not women like a mermaid, but it had feet. As she came up, she got hurt in the storm. He picked her up and brought her to the house. But of course, this where they were living was, when you go into the a lighthouse. He had a house underneath a lighthouse.
Oh yeah, I Want to Marry a Lighthouse Keeper. Did they play that song?
That's what I think it was. I was trying to listen to the song.
See, I've seen so many movies. I know how this works.
And I think that song came out.
I'm sure it did.
And I was wondering about how it started, and then I saw how it started. Then all of a sudden, these crazy creatures come up. They came up from underwater.
Okay.
But in the meantime, you know how it goes with a male and female. They get a little child, and he became... So
it's part water creature, part human, right?
Correct.
Okay,
he was.
Got it.
He was.
Yes.
And then that all of a sudden, that actually happened.
And that's Aquaman, right?
And that's the Aquaman.
Aquaman is him.
But
Hey, Uncle, let me ask you a quick question here, because I know you like a lot of the movies from the 80s. Did it remind you anything of the movie Splash with Daryl Hannah, where Tom Hanks ends up bringing home the mermaid? What do you think?
Knew he was going to say that. The only difference in that movie, she had a fin.
Well, no, she had a fin, but she winds up walking. Remember, she does the whole thing where she's doing the famous scene, the transition in the bathtub.
You could say it was something like that.
Except they end up with a baby, huh?
But he became pregnant with her, and she became with the child that was at the course. The little guy didn't know one. He had an uncle.
Oh.
That was teaching him to grow up when he grown up. So when he got grown, he would be the king of the underwater world.
Like Poseidon?
Poseidon adventure.
Yeah, because this gets into Atlantis, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is Atlantis. Right.
Okay.
This is Atlantis. But meantime, he had a brother that they were fighting.
Yeah.
And this was going on saying he was the king. And I kept saying inside myself, mine, the Aquaman is going to take him over. That's what I was thinking in my head. Okay. But you know, I just was thinking that. But
your mind just getting carried away with it.
Yeah, it actually was.
Wait a minute. Tom, any thoughts on this so far?
So far, how was it?
I hear that the uncle plays a predominant role in this. I hear predominant uncle role in the movie. The uncle takes Aquaman in and trains him to be the new king. So I think that was
well, I'm getting. That's where I'm getting to. Exactly. Yeah. That's where I'm getting to. Then this happened. And he was going, fighting this kind of man. And he said, "You're not going to own the king of the people." Or something like that. They're going swimming. And in the meantime, this school, first of all, the guy doesn't understand deceiving. Because he didn't understand his mother. What are you cracking up? Get off the stove.
I just want to know when Atlantis is. They're in Atlantis now, right?
No, wait a minute. I'm getting there.
Does he have a trident yet?
He has this.
Picturing them still at the lighthouse myself.
This lady comes up to Aquaman. Now, for example, now he's starting to grow.
So the boy has become a man.
Exactly.
Montage.
Yeah. He's starting to grow up, and he's beginning to be like a man.
It's a coming of age story.
Yeah, right. And all of a sudden, this school comes up saying, "We need a king for the underworld." Of course, he's going on saying, "I'm Earth Man and Underman."
He's a little bit of both.
Little bit of both. Like he was saying, like Kickman, Sideman here saying.
Sure.
So here we were in the middle of that. In the meantime, the father was half and half, if you could understand what that meant. When he got involved with the lady.
With the fish woman.
Well, yeah, you could say the fish woman. Because she was full, and what was happening was the house, with these people come into the house, and she was fighting them, going on back and forth. Of course, he was still small at the time. Going back and forth at these people. And then she said to his husband, "I've got to go, but I will be back." This is when it really starts.
Ah, okay. Now
you're getting to. I'm getting to the point.
Forget about that lighthouse.
And then she goes away. He grows up with the father. As he's growing up, this other woman comes that is the sort of a large fish.
She's another fish woman.
And says, "We need you down at
Atlantis.
Underwater.
Yeah.
Under there.
You got to go down.
And he said, "Why should I?" Because he don't know anything yet. And he's been practicing with his uncle. And he said, "Someday you're going to be the owner, the king of..."
So the uncle was also from Atlantis, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah. He's trying to get Aquaman, who at this point is young and has no idea about Atlantis or anything, right? He just knows about the ways of the land.
Right.
The uncle is there as like the sort of overseer for the Atlanteans to make sure that he eventually comes back there where he belongs, and he's probably from a royal bloodline, right?
So, bloodline, correct. That's
so they need to bring him back to take his rightful place at the throne. Is that it?
That's the one I was trying to get to.
Okay.
Boy, you really can tell the story. And here, I mean, it's in the movie.
See, I'll tell you something. This is interesting to me because, Uncle is always trying to train Aaron right here live on the show.
I am teaching. This is what I'm going to do in reviews. Get your friend, your friend. I want to get, because this is my practice.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So...
But, are you? I think what Chuck is getting at is that you are like the uncle in the movie, training me for my rightful role in life, which I have no idea what I'm doing right now.
Oh, that's true.
So it's a good thing that you're here to guide me.
That's what exactly. I'm trying to do it that way, but yeah, if you want to see the movie, I wouldn't mind. Oh, matter of fact,
you'd watch it again.
I'll watch it again. I found out though. Is another part to it. Oh. So, but we can both go see the first part. Sure. If you want, I'll see it again.
Tom, does this sound like a movie that you would want to watch?
Would like to see something?
I need a number. So what would you rate it, Uncle?
Oh, 1 to 10. Yeah, where's this movie come
up on number 10. Whoa. The way this is going to what I've seen in the movie itself that I went to see because the women saw it.
The movie you saw today, Aquaman.
I would go 10. I would put it to 10 because the way and action too. It was an action movie, and you know me, I love action movies.
I know that.
And they were saying, "Come see it, come see it." Women said, "Come see it." I say, "I'll come see it." I want to see it, so I went to see it. but the point I'm saying is. As I was talking about this woman,
but should Tom see it?
You should see it if you're interested in action movies. What's your kind of movies? I don't know.
Your movies.
You like action movies?
Yeah, I mean.
Well, you'll like this one then. But what I'm saying.
Well, Uncle, I got another question for you about the movie, though, really quick. Did you see Aquaman's first appearance in this new universe? Because he was actually part of a movie before the Aquaman movie very recently. Have you seen that yet?
No.
Okay.
Was that part 1?
No, it's not part 1. It's like, I think it's called Justice League or Dawn of Justice or something like that.
It's the equivalent of the Avengers for the DC movies.
Wait a minute.
That's true.
I saw something as a bunch of men criminal trying to clean up the...
where there's a Justice League, there's always the League of Evil.
I've seen that kind of movie, yeah.
Right, but you'd remember this one because it's got Wonder Woman and the Ben Affleck Batman, which, I'm rolling my eyes. I'm sure everybody can hear it.
I
did see something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That introduced Aquaman, and so this Aquaman movie is the origin story
of it
that we need to understand the character of Aquaman. Now, next time we see Justice League, we'll know who we're dealing with.
Right. Yes, I see.
I'm not sure what to think of this new Aquaman, right?
You're right.
Because to me,
I got thrown my dirty 2 cents after you're done. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I want to get Uncle's thoughts on this because I bet he remembers the really lame Aquaman that was part of the old Justice League cartoons, right? The Super Friends. Right. Even in the Super Friends, he was lame as anything. Aquaman. He was just this goofy character that, the guy who talks to fish. I never had an interest in this guy at all. Some people are saying that this is a really great movie, a great take on the character, and it's really interesting and fascinating and action. And other people are telling me it's awful. So I can't wait to hear exactly how Uncle views this because it doesn't seem like anybody's saying, well, it's pretty good or it's okay. It seems to be a love or hate kind of thing. So I'm really interested because I haven't seen this one. I did see the Justice League movie, but I didn't see this one. So go ahead.
You're right. I come to think of it, I did see something of that, of the Synchron movie. Like you saying you saw.
Yeah,
I
did
Justice
League
see it. I think I did see that. Yeah. You're right. But this one is a complete different of that one because he's a human. And the human lived on land and sea, where the others, they come out of the water whoa, they come out of the water like so. And here's the water, and all of a sudden, they got a uniform thing, like
they're Atlantean clothing. Right?
That's it, Atlantean clothing, and they have this stuff. What was going on with this whole movie? You must say, is meantime here we are. The lady asked him to go back, and the man still couldn't understand, and he was trying, and then the uncle stepped in, saying, "Do you know what I taught you?"
Yeah,
and then he said, "Yeah." I do. And so they go on, activity going on. In the meantime, the mother is gone. The mother is gone. She's not in it yet. And so they think that she died. All right. Had me thought about it after I'm looking at the movie, and I'm thinking the same way at the time. But then when it actually happened, was he was doing the exercise, got the idea, and started doing this fin with this knife. Then stepped in. His brother, on the other hand, wanted to be the king, and he was making an army force against him. This is where the action starts.
This is what happens.
And so we have all these animals on top of the animals for like a horse and stuff. They're going in this water back and forth, and they're saying it's going to happen, land and sea. And this woman's saying,
"Oh,
we need you to be a king," and she's yapping and saying. Meantime, the father, human father, gets in a car in a boat whack. Then it breaks down. She saves the father. At that point, he says, "I will be my last thing I do to her." So there we go. We've got a war on our hands. The other brother is actually building up his power from the from the Aquaman.
So obviously, he's evil. So the kingdom of Atlantis is going to fall into evil hands if the brother has his way. So Aquaman has to come in to, create a just kingdom, and there's a lot of like land versus sea things going on. Probably.
Yeah, he's doing good on this.
Tom, what was it that you wanted to interject?
Why did you want to interfere on that?
I just want to know: does he have mental skills like he did in the cartoon? Like, can he talk to the animals with brainwaves? Like, he puts his hand to his head, and these circles come shooting out of his brain, and he goes,
Tom,
woo, 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 Tom, and he can talk to the dolphins and stuff.
I'm getting to that. The time they're in the fighting, this woman says they get in.
She says, "Guess what? You can talk to tuna.
We'll get in. Let's go." She gets in she loses her machine, and she says, "Let's go in to the animal's mouth." And he said to her, at this time he's grown up. He's a grown man now. Yeah. And he goes into the mouth, and he says, "It's over." The activity. Because he hears it from the animal. Comes out and goes out, but then the best part is I can give you the ending if you want to hear it.
Uh-oh. Tom, is that too much to ask? Or
no, he sold that last line so well. I mean, he owned that it's over. That was great. Keep going.
Okay. Well, here we are again. The girl is down there, finds out the mother is still alive. This is the best part of the whole movie, I believe it is. And she says, and she only got it through the son the way it's supposed to be in the movie. I was hiding against these people, and I really wasn't dead, where everybody thought. down there, she was dead. And he got and said, "You've got to go in there to get the stab, to get."
This is where the trident comes in.
Trident, yeah.
Oh, it's about time.
I have to do the ending, bro.
Okay.
The trident says, "Well, you are gonna fight me," and then he going on fighting him.
This is the brother.
No.
Who's he fighting?
The brother yet? The brother is still doing his army stuff.
Oh, he's just
up
doing
there
the
with
army.
his people.
Okay.
He don't know about this yet.
Okay.
So he goes into that trident. They fight them up to get them together and knock themselves out. He finally gets the grab of the stick.
He gets it.
And he eyes.
His eyes light up, probably.
Light up.
Okay.
Strength, double the size of him. Comes out.
It gives him power.
Gives him power. And the thing goes like, you know how you have electricity?
Okay, so yeah.
Through the body.
Okay.
Yes. So he he goes through the body. And it gets strength up. And then he gets stronger. And then all of a sudden, and any time, his brother's up there saying, "I'm going to be the king." Going after him and start throwing it. He's talking to
got
the
a whole
uncle.
Army.
Yeah, he had the whole army. He had the uncle on his side at the time. They're going at it and fighting. And he says, boom. The brother stands there.
So basically, it's a fight between Trident and a whole army, right? A Trident and a whole army?
Trident, his brother and brother.
Yeah, but Aquaman has a trident. The brother has an army.
Right. That's right. And it was all going on. You know how the system goes when they fight. And this is going on. But they were fighting, and this big guy comes up. And I said to myself, this big monster's coming up. And I'm looking for Aquaman on the show. He was on top of him with the stick. And boy, he was perfectly gold. The whole body turned to gold.
Turned gold. Okay, sure. Gold.
And then they were saying they were going at each other. Here's the father saw this, and the son and the other son fight.
Very dramatic.
Joint to man. Then all of a sudden, the mother steps in and says, "Stop. No bloodshed." They, at the time, stopped the other people, the uncle, and she sat there, and they all went down, kneel.
Oh, because she's the queen or something.
Right.
Okay.
She's the queen of the whole underworld.
Yeah, they thought she had gone, but she comes back, so everybody has to be, okay, so she's in charge again.
She's in charge of things.
Okay.
And then, all of a sudden, and then it came up, and the girl finds out, talking to the mother, that was back in when going in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was, they're saying now, and then here comes the policeman for the brother. The father says, "We got the king." Meaning, Aquaman was the king, because he saw all this commotion going on.
Okay.
And they said, "Take the brother out." So here they're taking the brother out with the cops down in the ocean. So he was done. Oh, and the son and the brother was saying, "Ma," he was shocked seeing him at the time.
Yeah, everybody thought she was gone, obviously.
Right. She thought it was gone.
But she wasn't.
So he went in, and he became
the new king. Of Atlantis.
And
that's it.
And that was the end of it.
There you go.
But at the time of all this happening, we had a black man, and the other words in the beginning was fighting, and he went at the end of this whole thing. The Eggert said, well, because he didn't know he was the king now. Shot the knife, won him, and it ended.
No, there we go.
That was the end.
So there you go. Tom, you got your wish. You heard the ending.
How do you like the ending?
All right. You know, I feel like we just went to the movies together.
That's exactly how it went. What I've understood it.
That's the whole movie, Tom.
It was a whole movie. But
it's good. That's good. I still want to see it, but I still feel like I feel like I've just been somewhere with you. I feel like we've gone to Atlantis.
Well, they're saying I'd like it, and I've always liked action movies.
And you did.
And that one.
So good recommendation then?
Yeah. I think that was a good 10 on that movie.
I'm guessing there's a lot of.
What superhero would you want to be if you could be any one of the superheroes?
That guy there.
Really?
You'd be Aquaman.
I would like Aquaman, the man that's underwater, underman and sea. After I saw that, I'm thinking of what you're thinking, and that's what I would have liked to be, because it seems to be, and they was also saying this guy can swim underwater, breathe underwater. He was half human and half fish, and it wasn't like that, Tom. It wasn't like the man with the fin.
He was just a human, and
he was a
swim
human.
somehow.
But they did once that show you were talking about, Tom, was when she got wet. She turned to a fish. She couldn't be wet. But this one actually was a man that had feet.
He didn't have any fins.
Didn't have a fin.
He was a man underwater, doing just fine.
Right.
Doing real good for himself down there.
That was that's how I'm showing my shows.
He really made a life for himself down under that ocean.
Yeah.
Succeeded.
Yeah, well, that was surprising to me. They told me to see it, but, I had to see it by myself. So I had to go, because I had to take my sister. We went to take her stitches out.
Yeah.
So I went.
So Tom is going to go see this movie.
You're going to go see it then?
Any other
I liked
input?
Wonder Woman. I thought that was a really well done movie. I did not like the Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
and I love the TV version of Flash and Green Arrow. And I wish that they had put those actors into the Justice League movie, because that was my favorite comic book growing up, was Justice League. It was like, for 25 cents, you get the most superheroes per comic book, I thought.
Yeah, I remember that Flash show coming out. I'd never seen that. That was recent, right? That came out not long ago.
Yeah, like the new Flash. There was an older one that wasn't okay, but the newer one is like really, I don't know, it's good. I like watching it, and they do crossovers where Flash and Supergirl and Green Arrow will go and have adventures together and stuff like that. There's good backstories and good writing and stuff, and I was kind of like, when they said there's going to be a Justice League movie, I thought they were going to take those actors, but then they decided to pick a whole different set of actors to do it. Which
I haven't seen. Oh, sorry. I haven't seen Aquaman. What is
Supergirl we're talking about?
Supergirl,
Supergirl and Green Arrow and Flash are all TV shows, and they're pretty good, I think.
Is there a Green Lantern too?
There got to be a Green Lantern there. I think there was.
Lantern, but I think it's just a movie that people kind of made fun of a little bit. Yeah.
What's the difference? See, I don't know comics so well. What's the difference between Green Arrow and Green Lantern?
What's the difference between beer and milk? It's a world of difference. They're both green, but so Green Lantern's got a ring, and it's a magic ring, and he's got all kinds of like backstory with aliens and space and stuff like that. And Green Arrow is just really good with shooting arrows and darts and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so he's the Archer character.
Yeah.
He's the Archer character, yeah. He's kind of like the Hawkeye of DC.
Yes. There's equivalents, crossovers between these different franchises. And I mean, when you get something iconic and archetypical like that, I mean, that's what you do.
Whoa.
Now Disney owns them all, so we're going to have a Smurf Star Wars spinoff or something like that at some point.
I meant to say, and beginning with this, when they came on the boat with the black men, the father and son, he gave him his knife, and this was the guy that was trying to kill Aquaman, but you know what happened there? He came with the eyeballs and started with this gun shooting and that this was going on.
But
he didn't know
Uncle,
who he was at the time either.
I understand that, but what are the, like, if you had to take a step back from the movie and say, what are some of, like, the deeper meanings and the overarching themes of this movie? What was this movie trying to tell you? Like, what sort of ideas was it portraying to the audience, do you think?
That's what I was trying to get to, but...
Do you have any ideas on that? Or are there any, like, weird ideas that pop into your head? Like, whoa, this movie got me thinking along these lines.
Man and fish. I mean, you know how a human can't get fish. And a fish can't, I mean, human can't breathe in fish.
Yeah.
What got my attention, exactly that, is how can a human... being Aquaman, been born in...
How could a human breathe water?
That's the point. That's my point.
How could that happen?
How can that happen? But what it was is the mother was...
She breathed water.
She breathed water. And when she was born with him, that's how he
got the abilities from his mother.
Yeah, that's it. Geez, you know more than
simple genetics. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is, and then the father was a human.
Yes, so that's how he could breathe air.
Breathe air. Very strange. That was what I thought of that too when I was watching it.
So it's a real surf and turf would be.
That's what the word is.
That's the main theme. Turf. That's the main theme.
Be laughing at. So?
Surf and turf.
Yeah. Well, that's. You can put it to that.
Main theme of the movie.
Right.
Okay.
Well, you said it yourself. I haven't even seen the movie.
I'd like to be able to breathe water.
Yeah.
And air. See, I wouldn't trade breathing air for breathing water. I want to be able to do both like Aquaman.
Well.
Is that greedy?
Well, yeah, but that's what you were made of. You weren't made of being a fish either. But you know, that's acting in the movies.
Yeah.
Once again,
it's a fantasy.
That's what the word is.
Yeah.
Fantasies is what we actually watch in movies, though.
Yeah.
I've got to a point. People go see movies, and it's fantasies.
Yeah, of course.
And it's going back and forth between that.
Tom, do you like a good fantasy?
Yeah, is that like a fantasy? You like fantasy?
You know, it's good, but I'm always trying to look for explanations at the end. You know, I always want a really great, fantastic world or something like that, or somebody makes up a good story like this crazy thing happens and that crazy thing happens, and then I want them to explain it later. So I get disappointed a lot with some stories, you know, like Lost. I was like in season 3 of Lost a few years ago. I'm like, oh, this is not going to end well.
I saw that movie.
It was just too fantastic. It was too awesome things that were happening for them to actually reconcile in a coherent plot line that is going to be satisfying to me. So that's kind of why I don't mind spoiler alerts. I actually like them because it helps to weed out the ones that are not going to have a great ending. And sometimes they do it. Sometimes they you're like, there's no way they're going to be able to do this, and then they do it, and you're like, whoa, that is the art of writing right there. That's amazing.
See, that's why I ask people first if they want to hear it before they see it.
That was awesome. Some people don't.
Yeah, that's my point, and that's what I try to ask them first before I go through that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna see it, like, you see it, and then I'll explain it. I mean, you know, but.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though, Tom. Like, a lot of shows are like that. With the Game of Thrones, for me, gets way too fantastical because it seems like it wants to be sort of like sort of realistic. Like you're seeing like real medieval times. With obviously there's some like fantastical elements, but the fantastical elements get to be so much. With that overlay of, it almost looks like it's like real medieval times, that it's like, well, what is this? This is just annoying me. So I turn it off.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be like a real scientific explanation that makes sense. It just needs to be like a good part of the story, you know, like the breathing water thing. You know, I've had dreams where I could breathe in water. You know, that's great. I love that. So if they said, oh, it's because of this, you've got this gene or something like that, or that you're doing this through your special skin or whatever. Just think it through enough to make me suspend my disbelief, I guess is what they call it.
Yeah. I agree. Can't go too far with it. Uncle, did you want to say what number this was?
No, the phone number out.
Oh, you know what? We're having some... I would have given the live call-in number, but we're having some issues with the phone line, so I didn't. That's the only reason I didn't do that.
Phone noise?
Yeah, we should be taking... We were planning on taking phone calls, and we will again when we can, but Chuck, our producer's working diligently to get the phone lines back up. But for now, sorry, callers. You're going to have to wait till next week or whenever we get the phone lines back up.
I didn't know it was broke down.
Now you know.
I could tell it's the beginning and half of the show.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Tell them the inducer, and now...
I know.
Well, okay then.
Yep.
So, here we are. What else would I have to say?
Well, should we wheel back around to bikes again?
Get back to the bikes again.
Yeah, sure.
What do we learn on a three-wheel? What do we got on a three-wheel bicycle? Do you know?
It's great. There's tons of adult trikes out there. There's four-wheel bicycles. There's hand bicycles where you pedal with your hands. There's a bunch of different variations out there. But yeah, I kind of would like to try just about any bike. So if you ever saw a weird bike going down the road, I would want to try it. Have you ever tried a high wheeler bike?
Yes. No. But I have seen them on the street.
You're talking about the old style ones, like the ordinary bicycles?
Yeah, the old bicycles. They go up on the big wheel, and the guy's on top of the wheel, and he's driving down the road.
It. Yeah.
Haven't you seen those?
I got to ride one of those once, and it was pretty cool. It's weird, but it's like riding a bike. It's really. It's like writing history. You really feel like, oh man, all those pictures that I've seen, this is what it feels like.
Tom, do you know about that guy? It must have been 100 years ago or so, but he did some crazy tour. I want to say across the U.S. or something on one of those. You know that guy?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of guys who've gone on tour with these penny farthing bicycles. And, you could go right back to when penny farthings were popular and people would ride them across country. But there's been a couple of people to do that in modern times as well. So, yeah, there's a guy. I hope to have him on the show someday. I forget his name. But he recently went all over the place on this big penny farthing bike.
Nice. That's cool.
You got a lot of your customers, though, right, that's on bicycles, right?
Listeners to the show.
They're listening to your show, correct?
Yep. And when I started the show, I had like 3 dream guests. You guys probably have like a dream guest that you would want to get on. Like when you first started a podcast, you'd be like, someday I'll have who is your dream guest?
Who, mine?
Yeah,
I can tell you it is.
Who?
Hitting to him, sidekick here. Bang.
What's
bang?
Somebody who hits himself in the head.
No, a wrestler.
A wrestler.
Bang.
A wrestler who hits himself in the head. Roddy Piper.
No, with his beer can.
Oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Steve Austin.
Okay.
I am still waiting on him because he has a broadcast.
He does,
and I've heard it. But I'm still trying to get to him.
Got to get him in here. That's one of them.
That's one of them, right there, Tom.
There you go. So whenever any of us seem to start this, we all have like our little wish list, and we may even not even tell anybody for a long time. But yeah. So for me, one was Oprah. One was because it's Oprah. Oprah's got to have a bicycle story that nobody's heard before, and I would like to have Oprah's bicycle story. I would like to be that one. I mean, besides the Lance Armstrong interview, she's got to have some type of bicycle story that she hasn't shared before. I'd love to hear that. So, and then Greg LeMond, who's if you take away Lance Armstrong, he's the only American who's ever won the Tour de France. And then the third one was Mike Wolf from American Pickers. And like right before Christmas, I got a chance to interview him. So I got one of my 3 dream interviews, and I'm editing it up now. So I was really excited about that. I've watched every episode of American Pickers 8-10 times. I love that show. It's like I grew up next to somebody who had a property like that, and I used to play on it all the time.
Yeah. Nice.
Have you ever seen the show, Uncle? American Pickers?
No. We are going to go back to reviewing films, though. We've been slacking.
We did that tonight.
Well, I did.
So we're back.
Tonight.
We're back in full force, I would say.
Yeah. There is a show, though, coming out in July. Part 2 of Top Gun.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to review that. We're going to watch that. If you want to be with him, you're welcome to join us with... there
we go. Pierce.
With Pierce and them. Yeah. Because we're going to review that.
But Uncle, why don't we we're getting towards the end here, so why don't we just have Tom talk about Bike Karma podcast a bit before he goes?
Go ahead.
And also, why don't you tell people about your social media too, Tom, before we go?
Tom.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So you were on my show back in episode 22. We talked about the Kevin the Weathersfield turkey together.
I remember the turkey thing.
Yeah, this is the first time you were on my show. So that's episode 22. So if you want to hear that, go check out Bike Karma episode 22, and you can hear Uncle and Bike Karma at the same time, again, like tonight. And so I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and you can check the Bike Karma Bicycle podcast anywhere that you listen. But the last episode has a story from a guy who found a body in the woods while he was mountain biking, and what happened with that. And the next episode, which is going to come out before February, maybe February 1st, is going to have the interview with Mike Wolf and Mars Bicycle from the Rhode Island School of Design. These college students came and put together a bicycle that could work on Mars. And I thought that was pretty cool. And he talks about that. So a couple other little things, but you can check that out.
Nice. All right, Tom. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We'll stay in touch with you.
I'm talking.
Well, Uncle, why don't you bring us home? The show is ending.
This is the ending of the show, and we welcome. Appreciate your talk tonight, there, Tom. And
thank you for telling me all about Aquaman.
Well, I'll tell you about that since I've seen it. But go ahead and see it again if you haven't. And so
our website is Uncle the Podcast.
Our website is UncleThePodcast.com.
We're on social media.
Twitter,
Instagram. At Uncle Podcast.
At UnclePodcast.com. So people want to listen, turn that on, and you have my voice listening.
That's all you got to do.
That's all you have to do. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, and boom, boom, boom. Bye-bye. That's all.
See ya.
See you. Wait on it.